Okay, the next part of this assignment is a little new, so we will go over this together where we design templates. So because we want each page in our website to look the same except for the content, we're going to set up a template because we want everything to be consistent, the buttons, the titles, the look of everything. So we're going to create these templates, and that'll make our job a lot easier when we go to set up our website. Before you set up the templates, you will want to make your buttons for the navigation bar so that you can put them in place when you make the template. This is important because when we design our template, there are some things that are going to be unchangeable and elements that are editable. Any element that you don't want to make editable cannot be changed. So we need to make these buttons ahead of time and get them in place because that's something we will not want to change. And so we need those buttons in place so we can don't have to worry about it. So the buttons that you're going to need is a birth and date button for each of your people, childhood experiences, education, achievements. Well, so I shouldn't say you need them for each of your people. You can use the same birth and date button, childhood experience button. That's all fine. So you don't have to create a button for each person. You just have to create one for each of these time periods so that you can use them on each page. Okay, so now we're ready to make our template. Once you have those buttons created, you're ready to make your template. When you make a template, you have elements that are unchangeable and elements that are editable. Any element you don't make editable cannot be changed, so it is important that you set up your page exactly the way you want it to be. There are 3 main steps to making a template. Alright, so now I'll go through and kind of show you in view how to set up this template. Okay, so in order to set up a blank template, we need to be inside in view, and we're going to go to File, New, and we're going to say a blank template is what we want to create. And then we're going to go to Tools, CSS Editor, and then now you're going to go get the style sheet that you created in the previous assignment. So I'm actually going to go grab Sarah's. So I'm going to get the final.css external style sheet that I created, that Sarah created, and then create style sheet and close. Then we're going to set up our page, including any tables and buttons you will need. So I'm just looking at your assignments here. So we grabbed our external style sheet, we created the style sheet, closed our CSS page. So now we're going to set up our page, including any tables and buttons that you will need. For example, so this is what theirs kind of look like. So depending on your blueprints and how you wanted to set up your table or your website, your web page, that would be how you would set up your template. So again, the template is something that we're going to be using for every page. If you're not familiar with how to set up tables and everything inside InView, go back to our videos and watch the tables assignment video, and that will help you with setting up tables. And then you'll also need to type in your text, type in your title, type in your paragraphs, and apply your CSS style to each of those parts of your web page. Okay, so once you get your tables created, we can move on to the next step for creating these templates. So one thing I want to point out, you might want 2 different templates for your website. For instance, maybe you want this look for your index page where you can link then to each of the 4 different famous people, and then once you click on the image, maybe it takes you to another page that has more of this template where maybe this is the birthplace or the education page of I'll just use Sarah's examples, maybe Leonardo da Vinci. So maybe this is the education of Leonardo da Vinci. You have a short paragraph about maybe where he went to school and how old he was and maybe some of his whatever accomplishments he had during school. An image of him at a school age would be great, or just an image of him, and you could use the same image on every page. And then also a spot for your citations, maybe a few buttons. So again, this is just one I threw together to kind of show you how to do the next step. You need to create your own table based on the blueprints that you created for this assignment. So once you have, again, I have 2 different templates. I'll probably just stick to this one for now because this is the one I'll be applying to all of my pages. This is just the one that I'll probably use for my index page. So with my template, you want to make sure to apply all of your CSS styles to whatever parts you're not going to create images for. So like for your buttons, you'll probably create those in cool text, so you'll be inserting your images here, which you will want to do in your template. So in this template, insert your images. If you create your titles in cooltext.com, that would be great too, and you would include that image here. Maybe for your paragraph, you want to apply, this is where you would go to apply your CSS style that you created. So once you've added in your style sheet, now you can go and apply that to the different parts of your templates. So maybe you have a style for your paragraph and a style for your citations. If you didn't create images for your titles, maybe you created a style for your titles. So again, this is we're applying the different styles to our template here so that it'll carry over onto each page. Another thing you're going to want to make sure you do is in this paragraph cell, you might want to double click on it and check this text wrap option so that as you're typing your paragraph, it won't just keep going on the same line. It will wrap the text inside of that cell. That's a suggestion from your instructions here. So you will want to apply formatting to the table or the cell, such as text wrap in the cell where you'll be typing all of your information. Determine which areas will need to be editable. In my example above, the title, text, and image are the only areas I would need to edit. So everything else can stay the same. The only areas she wants to edit would be the title, the paragraph, and the image. Those are the things that she wants to be able to change out. And probably your citations too. But the table and the buttons will be the same on every page and subpage, so we can keep those as locked areas. Highlight a section that you wish to be editable and then click on Insert, Templates, Insert Editable Area. So we want our paragraph to be editable, so we're going to highlight this section, and then we're going to go to Insert, Templates, Insert Editable Area, and then your instructions say name the area. If the area will contain only a couple of words, you can leave the area type as flow of text. If the area is going to hold several sentences or an image, you need to click on block instead. So this is going to be our paragraph of information on this page. So we're going to want to choose block. And let's name this paragraph. So I know that's where my paragraph is going to go. And say OK. And so then you'll notice that this created a little template area for your paragraph. So then it looks like you might have to reapply then your style once you get that template set up. So you're going to want to do the same thing for your citations. Insert, templates, editable area. I'll just go ahead and use block, and this is going to be citations. And reapply that style. And then this is where we'll want to set up one for our image. And I believe for images it says if the area is going to hold several sentences or an image, you need to choose block. So stick with block, put in image, and OK. That's where your image will go. And so anything that, again, that you want to make Editable. This is where you would apply the templates. I'm going to do one last one for my title here. Okay, so when I save this as a template, these are the areas that I will be able to edit. Everything else, the table, the buttons, everything else will be just how it is. So make sure you have this table set up as you want it before saving it. And I'm just going to adjust my rows here a little bit. Okay, once you have your template set up as you want it, we're going to go to File, Save As, and we're going to save the template in your Unit 5 folder. And we're going to call this template. And we're going to save this in our Unit 5 folder. And we're going to call this template.mzt. That MZT is the file extension for a template. When you finish a page using a template, you're going to save it as an HTML file. But for now, we want to save this template as .mzt. And make sure, too, that you should have already had your buttons in place. Keep in mind that we need those buttons in place. Otherwise, you cannot re-edit those because we put them in an uneditable area. Okay, so let's close that template for now, and you could save, this is going to be my index page or my home page for this website. You probably don't need to save this as a template since it's, well, for my web page, I would only be using this for the first page, so I don't need it as a template, so you could just save this as your index.html file. But when you do want to go back and use your template then, and sorry, I clicked on the wrong button and actually closed it down. So when you do want to use your template, you would go to File, New, a new document based on a template, and then you would go and find your template inside your Unit 5 folder, create a new tab, create, and there's your template. So this, all your pages are already set up for you. So this might be, for instance, Sarah's Leonardo da Vinci page, and she would just type in her information on Leonardo da Vinci, put in her image, put in her citations. The buttons will already be in place because that is something you created when you created the template. And then when you're done with this, you would save as back into the correct folder that you created for each of your artists. So in this case, I would go into my Leonardo da Vinci folder, and you're going to save this as, maybe this was his birth page. So I'm going to say ldv birth.html, and that is my would be my Leonardo da Vinci birth page. So again, you're using the templates, but once you've created the page, you're saving it as a .html document. So here's an example of this student's, this is Sarah's again, her templates. So she did the same thing. On her index page or the home page of this website, she used a different template. So she has her title. She has a button to go back to her portfolio page, which is something you'll need because we're going to link all of this back to our portfolio page that we created back in Unit 2. And then she has a link to each of the artists that she did her report on, her research on. And then she used this template for each of the pages after. So here's the information on Leonardo da Vinci. She does like an introduction. Then she does their childhood page, education, and achievements. So by using this template, all she had to do was just type the information, change out the image, and type the citation. So as long as you meet the required minimum amount of images, Sarah kind of went above and beyond here and does a different image on each page. But if you have the required number of images, I'm okay if you don't have a different image on each page. But you'll notice the buttons all stayed the same. She didn't have to replace those every time. So that will actually, using this templates will save you a lot of time. And so this is what her web page looks like when it's kind of in action here. So she has a return to portfolio button, and then she has the links to the different artists that goes straight to her introduction page. Then you can also look at their childhood page, education page, achievements page, and then back to the home page and look at the next artist. So this, Sarah did a great job. Thanks, Sarah, for letting me use yours to show us an example. So again, that's how you create templates, and why it's important to create templates is that way it'll make things a lot easier for you instead of having to replace all the buttons every time and recreate your table every time. All that's already in place, you just have to switch out the information. So in your text, after you create the document and you set up your template, you'll go in and edit your template. Type in the title for your first person's birth death page. You can either type it in or use the cool text image if you create one. Write your text in your own words, no copying and pasting, in the text box. Insert your image in the image box, add your citations, save the page in the person's folder inside your Unit 5 folder as person1birth.html, like that could be the name or something similar to that. So here's the actual page for the template assignment. So make sure you use the template to make all of the pages for the first person. Save each page in that person's folder, giving it a proper name. So for this assignment, you only need to make the template for the first person, or make the template and make it for all of the pages of the first person. Save each page in that person's folder, giving it a proper name. Once all pages for a person are complete, you'll need to make the links. Double-click each button on every page and set it to link to the proper page. Repeat for each of the other people and submit for your Unit 5 folder. So I lied. So this is for, you have to make this for all of the people. I thought maybe for this assignment you just had to do it for one person. But you should be doing this to all 4 people. Applying the template and getting their information put in there. Make sure you glance over the rubric to make sure you have everything included that you need. The template applied to each person, spelling, grammar, citations, all that good stuff. So, and actually for this point you don't need to have your index page created yet. That's actually going to be part of the final part of this assignment. So this is just creating the templates for each person. And then when you get to Section 3, Part B, this is where you would create the index page. So you can create it like I showed you earlier in the video. So if you already have it created, then congratulations, you're pretty much done with this project. But if you haven't created your index page yet, follow these instructions. Your index page needs to have the same background, style of font, buttons, titles, etc. It does not have to have the same page layout. It might not even have the same buttons. Like the example I showed you, instead of using buttons, she used images. So you can make a new page from your template. Click on Edit, Detach from Template. So that allows, when you are in View and you are using a certain template, let's just go back and reopen this template. If you go to Edit and Detach from Template, that kind of turns off everything in your template, and then you can kind of edit freely in there. So you can now delete the table by right-clicking the table and choosing Delete. So if you don't want to use that table that you have set up in your template, you can delete that one and choose a different one. Design your index page with a new table. Add an introduction. Add thumbnail links for each person's main page. So again, like we showed you with Sarah's, she has thumbnail images that link directly to that artist's page. There's an example in your text, and just make sure you apply your CSS settings that you've created, add your citations, check all of your links to each page, check your spelling, grammar, punctuation, make corrections, save all corrected pages, and zip your Unit 5 folder. So on the previous page in this Section 3, you should have read about this self-evaluation. So before you finish up this assignment, really evaluate yourself and be honest with how you did with this assignment. If you don't get 6 points in any category, then it's time to fix your website before turning it in. The final project is worth 60 points, so take the time to check it over. So this would be a great checklist. I would go down the 6-point column to make sure that you have everything you need for this assignment in place. Your buttons are linked, your images are linked, your citations are in place, and that you are good to go there. So that is it for your final assignment. When you are completed, you will zip and submit your entire Unit 5 folder. There is no final exam. I got rid of the exam and just wanted you to focus on this final project instead. So I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with for your final projects.